Good morning, my friends. It is day 8 of Halloween-a-thon? It's the 30th today, so yes, it must be day 8 of Halloween-a-thon. I have finished my prompt, which was to watch a Ghost Adventures or something similar type show. Yesterday, Lovie and I watched, what was it called? We went on HBO Max, since they've partnered or they've fucking absorbed what used to be whatever like the Discovery Channel streaming service used to be, right? And so they got all like the like paranormal investigation show things. So like Ghost Adventures is on there and things of that nature. And I thought she was gonna want to watch Ghost Adventures because, as she told me, that guy, Zach Baggins, is my Pookie. And I was like, Zach Baggins? And she's like, yeah, he's my Pookie. But then we saw this show called, I think it was called like My Possessed Pet or something like that. And Eli Roth was a producer. And there was a couple shows on there that was like, from Eli Roth or something like that. And I was like, oh, so that's what he's been doing. And so she wanted to watch that, and we looked through the episodes. There was only 4 of them, and we read through the synopsis, and we picked one called Nitro, I think it was. That was the dog's name. So this one wasn't exactly a investigation show. It was one of those ones where the person is telling the story, and then there's like a dramatic reenactment of their story. And this was really kind of weird. Lobby got kind of a little bit spooked at some points. Not like terribly scared. She's like, ah, you know. And there was like a lot of poop in it. A lot of poop. Maybe the other episodes were also like this because there's animals, but it's kind of bonkers. They like were like it was like an exorcism movie, but with a dog. Like, they chained their dog up in a basement and they like exorcised it. And there was like poop. Like multiple scenes with like weird dog poop in it. Like creepy, gross looking poop. It was a really funny episode. It was fun. I'm glad that we picked that instead of Ghost Adventures. Like, probably a much more fun time, honestly, than watching an episode of Ghost Adventures. Here's a picture of us watching this before the poop. It was fun. So I didn't read at all yesterday. I spent a lot of time editing my vlog. Oh, by the way, welcome to week 2 of Halloween-a-thon. And now I'm going to do another roll. I also need to go shut the front door because, honestly, the thought of like somebody walking up to my door while I'm doing this is, I hate the thought of that. I don't know why. Not like I'm embarrassed, but it's like, I just don't like people coming to my door anyways. I don't answer my door when people come up. But I don't want them to hear me like talking in the background, because then they'll just be encouraged to keep knocking. Oh my god, I was taking a final. I was taking a fucking final on the computer this weekend. I took my final for my typing class, my click class, which honestly turned out to be okay. I at first didn't get, I didn't actually achieve an A. I got really close. The first time I submitted it, I didn't get enough keystrokes right to get an A, and I submitted it. And there's 3 professors for that class. The only way you can take it is online, and I'm assuming there's a lot of students because it's online only. And there's 3 professors, and one of the professors messaged me and was like, "You are really close. Please, like, try again. You can resubmit your exam, try again, and see if you can get an A." I was like, I think you had to get 1,280 keystrokes in 8 minutes to get an A, and I had gotten like 1215 or something like that. And that was like my best time. Like I had tried the exam multiple times, right? And I could not even get close to like that time. So I was like, fuck, this is the best I can do. So I submitted that, and the professor had said that. So the next day I was doing it, and like at one point someone came to the fucking door, and my kitchen is right by the front door. Like there's no way they didn't hear me going type, 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 type. And they just kept knocking and going, hello, hello, hello. And it's a time test. Like so I had to it like completely threw me off. I had to be like, oh my God, like this is just pointless at this point. I had to scrap that time. Anyway, so also about that exam, I could not, I did end up like getting past my 1215 or whatever I got, but I still couldn't get to like 1280 to get an A in that class. So I submitted what I got. I think it was like 1250 or something close to that. And one of the other professors was like, you know what, you got really close, and he gave me 100% on it. He gave me an A. So, well, I mean, like, he gave me an A on it, which is 100% in the class. So it was really nice that they did that, and it made me feel, I like really appreciate it, because I tried so hard. I seriously sat for like 2 hours, and like, you know, my fucking back hurts really bad. And so it was hard. I had to like, I kept like getting up, and it was like, like a crown with my back, my little question mark. So that was really nice of them. And now I'm actually going to do my role like I said I was gonna do. This shot always cracks me up. Okay, so my last one was Ghost Adventures, that's right. Camera, stop. Okay, rolled a 2, which is a bat. Bat is Bats and Cats are novellas. Oh my God, I can't believe I have to look at this every single time as if I didn't make this board. And I haven't been using this board. It's just like all other knowledge, except for my school stuff is just like not in my head. I like read like a couple pages in Soft Ceremonies, and it was like, the story that I read was like super weird. I mean, the like few pages of the story that I read. Wouldn't it be weird if I mean, that would really be crazy if I did that. What does this say? The House on Abigail Lane. This is by Kealan Patrick Burke. Alright, so from the outside, it looks like an ordinary American home, but since its construction in 1956, people have vanished as soon as they go upstairs. The only clues, the things they leave behind: a wedding ring, a phone, an eye. Wow, a lot of eyeballs and things I've consumed recently. Opera, the eyes are the best part. Its 60-year history, a record number of strange events have been attributed to the house, from the neighbors waking up to find themselves standing in the yard outside, to the grieving man who vanished before a police officer's eyes, the animals gathering in the yard as if summoned, the people who speak in reverse. I haven't watched Twin Peaks, but I think that's something that happens in that show. The lights and the sounds, the music, the grass dying overnight, and the 10-foot clown on the second floor. As long as there are mysteries, people will be compelled to solve them. Here, then, is the most comprehensive account of the Abigail House phenomenon, the result of 60 years of eyewitness accounts, news reports, scientific research, and parapsychological investigations, all in an attempt to decode the enduring mystery that is the House on Abigail Lane. This sounds really cool, actually. This is my next read, A House on Abigail Lane. I had a little bit of an epiphany today about my personal finance class. We're in the 6th week, so I really only have like 2 weeks of classwork, I believe, before it's like time for the final, which is really nice. But I've been thinking about it, and like, also, our classwork got posted. I'm only taking online classes this semester, which I don't like. I would rather take in-person classes because online classes, you are doing your lectures for yourself, right? And that is so much more work. I don't like doing that. Like, even though it's more convenient because you don't have to take the time out of your day to go to class, I feel like I'm doing so much more. I'm taking so much more of my own time to do everything else. And it's much more simple, I think, when I have an hour and a half to, you know, go to class, to go to a class. You know, obviously it's more when you're taking more than one class, but I had an epiphany this morning about my fucking personal finance class, and that is, I'm not going to put so much fucking effort in because it's not doing anything for me, obviously. I'm not like getting the scores that I want on these quizzes. I'm doing fine on my assignments, so why do I need to take extensive notes if it's not doing anything for me? Except for I've literally injured my back from spending so much time taking notes that have done nothing for my grade. So I think I'm done with that. And I'm ready to be done with this class. I'm so glad that I've only got really, you know, 2 more weeks of classwork. And then I'm kind of nervous about the final. Because, like, if the final is like the quizzes have been, I feel like I'm kind of fucked. Because I've not really done well on the quizzes. Because when I go to take the quizzes, I don't find the answers. I have not read about these things in the textbook, and like our class work for the week got posted this week, and it's like on investments, retirement, and last week we did stuff on insurance such as life insurance, health insurance, car insurance, house insurance. So it was 3 chapters worth of stuff. It was like 10, 11, 12 in our textbook. And then I look for this week and it's like, oh, chapter 12. It's like, chapter 12 is on life insurance. Life insurance has nothing to do with investments. Why are you telling us to read chapter 12? It doesn't make fucking sense. Like, what chapter am I supposed to read to understand the shit for this quiz for this week? No wonder I don't know what I'm answering on these fucking quizzes. I will talk to you tomorrow before I go fucking crazy. Goodbye. I need to lay off the caffeine, obviously, and I don't know. Like, what do I do about this? I've emailed him. You know, I emailed him and asked about this type of thing, and he gave me an answer that didn't make sense. So what do I do? I mean, I know that I could and I should email again, but it's like, I don't fucking want to. It isn't my job to be the teacher. So, the end. Dear diary, mood apathetic. Hi, look, this is where my cats have scratched off my paint in my room from climbing up in the window. I've been reading The House on Abigail Lane by Kealan Burke. I'm like 30 pages into it. I read some yesterday, and then I read some yesterday, and then I read some today. Okay, it's like about this house where all these weird things happen, and it's these accounts of these things happening to people, and I thought I would really like that, but like for some reason I'm not. So I don't know what to do. It's not very long, obviously. It's a novella. I'm thinking like, if I read like 20 more pages and I don't like it, I think I might just stop reading it.
be my first DNF. It's October 1st. And I'll have my first DNF of October. That would be sad. But honestly, I've liked some things Kealan Patrick Burke has done, and other things I've not liked. Not that I've not liked them, it's just I've found them to be kind of boring. So it's like either I've liked it or I've found it to be boring. Either I really like them or I don't. It's just how it is with him, I guess. Has he written anything lately? I feel like I haven't heard for a while. It was just like a lot of stuff. And then recently, haven't heard from him. Where have you been? Where have you been, KPB? Yes, happy October 1st. I've got a lot of stuff I need to get done today. I was really hoping that I could get my decorations up. Usually I do that in September. That's when I like to do it. It's like the beginning of September so that I can have 2 full months of Halloween decorations, and I haven't done it yet. And I wanted to do it last weekend, and then I forgot. And so now it's October 1st, and I haven't done it. Last night I watched a movie I've seen before called Blue Ruin. It's by the director of Green Room. Have you seen that? Have you heard about that? I like that movie a lot. I saw Blue Ruin first, actually, and I didn't realize... I didn't wonder if they were connected from the director, but I noticed that one of the same actors was in it, because I was like, oh yeah, that guy. He's kind of familiar looking. His name is like Macon Blair, and I was like, oh, I don't think I've seen him in anything else. Remember that guy from Blue Ruin? Remember that movie? Zach and I, this was a movie that we saw probably shortly after it came out. It was on like Netflix in the like early 2010s. And we were like, oh, this movie is so good. And we are just like telling everybody about it. And, our friends are like, okay, you guys and your weird movies, right? It's good. It's like a revenge story. And it's just one of those movies that's, you really, you have to make sure you're not looking at your phone, because if you are, you're not going to have a good time. You really got to pay attention. There's not a ton of dialogue. It's slow-paced. It's atmospheric. You're going to lose track of what's going on if you're not paying attention, kind of, because there is not, a ton of dialogue and stuff like that. You really got to make sure, because if you miss it, you miss it, right? So, but it's, I think, worth it in the end. It's a good movie. I have to burp, but I feel like if I burp, it's coffee's gonna come up, which is gross. I don't want to do that. Okay, well, that's me. Maybe I'll have time to read a little more today and update you on whether I'm continuing on with this book or not. Okay. Hey, still whatever day. This is the spot where I put my spooky town pieces, the mantle of the fireplace. As you can see here, it's also just a catch-all. I mean, it's supposed to be nicely decorated, and it is, but also it becomes a catch-all for things that my child puts up there, and then sometimes it just doesn't get cleaned up. So I'm gonna clean it off, and we're gonna start putting spooky town pieces up there. I have to pick my kid up in about 50 minutes, so let's see if I can achieve this before. You can see my reflection in the reflection. Lobby's wall of artwork. It's been a long time since we've added to that. Most of that's from kindergarten, first grade. It's kind of sad that she doesn't do that anymore. Yeah, I've got a apple crisp incense lit. It smells so nice, and I'm gonna work on this shit. I'm not gonna keep the camera rolling because my memory card doesn't have enough space for me to continue with that. So see you once this is cleared off. Voila! Look at me. Look at me. Wait, you can't see me. Look at me. Hello. You can see my pile of laundry couch.
So here it is, my space. Probably this mirror needs to be cleaned up, but that's a little above my pay grade right now and my time allotment. Let's go get fucking spooky town shit out of the closet of no return. Hopefully I'll be returning with spooky town. I don't like this mirror stuff. This piece used to have like a separate dude that went with it, but I bought it on eBay and the man never came with it. So it's just like an old-timey Undertaker with no extra man, which is fine, I guess. Whatever. Fing fing. Wait, Fing. And so here is Spooky Town, the Meow Museum, the little black cat chorus, I guess? I don't know what that's called. Does it have a name? I don't know. We've got black cat decorations, lots of cats. I'm seeing a theme. Is that surprising? We've got an Undertaker, Shivering Pines Camp, and of course the Madame Serena's tarot readings. Very spooky. So those are the couple of spooky towns that I have. Ooh. Thanks for decorating with me. These are not the only Halloween decorations that I have, but the other ones I'm gonna put up in secret. Very secretive. Just kidding. I'm not, but like, I don't have time to film everything. Just my spooky town. Thanks for decorating with me. Bye. Sorry, I'm having, I think, memory card issues, so I don't know where I got cut off there, but I watched the director's other movie, We're All Going to the World Fair, and like nothing happened that entire movie. And like some people loved it so much. I was like looking at reviews of it and there are so many good reviews on Letterboxd, and it's like, what happened in that movie? It was just like a movie about going on the computer. And I feel like I saw the TV Glow was a movie about watching a TV show almost. And it was a little bit more than that, right? Like I said, it was about, I feel like it was about like, you know, discovering your true identity, but then what was the TV show for? The TV show seemed super cool though. It was almost like it reminded me almost of like, of something you, like the things on it seemed almost like something you would have seen on like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Anyway, let's roll. Let's roll again, see what's going on here. Because I might have a little bit of time to read, whether I get a book or whether I'm picking something freely. 3. 1, 2, 3. Bat. How come I've not landed on a single activity yet? That's what I'd like to know. Bat is a novella, right? Every time I have to check. Every single time. Better be a good one. What does it say? Deadly Voices. That is a true crime story. You know what? This better not be boring as fuck or I'm gonna be pissed. Also, the beginning of this video better not be like corrupted or something or it's gonna make no sense. Okay, Deadly Voices. The true story of serial killer Herbert Mullen. Serial killer Herbert Mullen terrorized the Santa Cruz, California area at the same time as the infamous co-ed killer Edward Kemper was active. Ooh. Unlike Kemper, Mullen killed anyone. Young, old, men, women, children, and even a priest in a confession booth. He didn't adhere to a particular M.O. The Deadly Voices told him to kill And he killed. Okay, this is by C.L. Swinney. It definitely sounds salacious. Let's give this a try and see how it goes. Okay, folks, I'm gonna go try to read in bed for a little bit. Ugh, my eyes, I need to put my eye drops in. My eyes are burning. I have dry eyes. My doctor, my optometrist told me. And I have to buy kind of expensive eye drops. I mean, they're like, not like crazy expensive, but it's probably like 25 bucks for a bottle of them. Which is kind of expensive. They're not just like Vicine, you know what I mean? Ugh, but they do help a lot. Anyway, that's definitely it for today. And I will talk to you after I read some of this book. And so see you then. Hello, it's me. Again, it's Friday. I haven't checked in a few days because I've had just like homework and stuff, and I also hadn't like finished my book or anything like that. I hadn't had a reason to make a roll. I'm back here today though. I finished my book. I'm here to talk about it. I want to paint my nails. I've got a couple things that I bought that I want to show you, and so I'm gonna show you my things. I'm gonna make my roll, and then I'm gonna paint my nails or start to paint my nails while I tell you a little bit about the book that I read. I broke my thumbnail, not in a hurty way, but in a like, oh, that sucks way. Walking the dog and like the leash just, I don't know, put pressure on it and it snapped, which is really lame. But look what I found at Target today. This really cute serving bowl. I'm trying to buy things that are, you know, functional. I've been really good with my allowance money that I was talking about earlier. This is our second week, the end of the second week actually. I need to pull out our money again today for our third week. And really I would have had like quite a lot of money left over, except for that I had my Illumicrate subscription come out this week, which is like 50 bucks. So that was like half of my allowance for the week. And really, I canceled like my Fangoria subscription. I'm going to cancel my Nightworm subscription. I canceled my Book of the Month subscription. I'm canceling everything left and right, which is fine because I'm thinking about things and I'm like, do I really need them? And most of the time it's no. The Illumicrate one I really like because it's special edition. But I'm thinking about my Nightworms and I don't really know. So, but I did really like this serving bowl. It was 10 bucks, and we do, like, Zach has a really big family and we do often, like, when we get together we eat, and like we always like all bring something. And so, and then like for birthday parties, and also like Thanksgiving is my holiday that I do here, so this will definitely get used. And it's like a chip bowl, a popcorn bowl, a salad bowl, fucking whatever I want bowl. And then finally, my fucking, like 2 weeks ago, I ordered shit from Bath & Body Works, and what happened was UPS dropped it off at my neighbor's house. And then UPS is like, oh, you can't retrieve it? Sorry. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then luckily, eventually my neighbors did bring it back. So I got like the 2 candles that I ordered, and my body wash finally fucking is here. This one is Sweater Weather, which is a scent that I really love. And I thought that they discontinued it because the last time I looked for it, I couldn't find it, but I'm thinking maybe they only have it during the winter and like that's the thing, because I found it this time. And this one is Fresh Sage, Juniper Berry, Aromatic Eucalyptus, I don't know what the difference is, and Fresh Woods. Maybe they're just saying that because it's not like their aromatherapy eucalyptus, I don't know. Aromatic eucalyptus isn't it at all aromatic? Don't you smell it? This is one of my favorite scents I love this one. It is just very, it's got, you know, because of the eucalyptus, it's got kind of like a minty smell, and the juniper too. It's just like very fresh smelling. It smells like you would walk outside in a pine forest and this is how it would smell, kind of, but not like too piney, you know, because I have also like one of their more piney smelling ones, and that one's definitely really piney, and that one's like, you know, I have a candle warmer, we warm the candle for a little while and then it's like, okay, this is maybe a little too much. And even like, I only do that in the living room, right? So it's not even like a tiny space or anything like that. But this one's really nice, one of my favorites. And then I got another one that is actually warming right now called Bright Christmas Morning, and it's like apple-y and berry-y and really nice smelling. So that's what I got. And now let's roll, since I finished my book, and then I'm gonna start painting my nails. So we rolled a 2, and where does that put us? On a, oh my god, right past an activity again, onto a pumpkin, which is a movie. Last night I watched Night of the Comet. This is the movies. Last night I watched Night of the Comet, which I've never watched before, and it was okay. It's not a favorite of mine. And I'm like, oh, I have this DVD. I'm thinking maybe I bought it because I wanted to watch it and it wasn't available anywhere, maybe. Okay, so tonight we're watching Happy Birthday to Me, which I also have on DVD and I haven't watched. I really need to start treating my DVDs the way I'm trying to treat my books, as in, I know it's not always possible, but we're watching them, or we're buying them after we know that we like them. So, what else have I watched in the last few days? Maybe I'll start my conversation out with that before I get into my book. Because I have watched a couple things. It's been, oh, it hasn't been that long, because I talked about I saw the TV Glow, right? I remember that. The night before last, I watched Oddity, which is a new one from this year. It was on Shudder recently. They put it on Shudder and I've been super stoked. You know what? This is gonna be my desk protector. So, Oddity. Oddity is about, okay, this movie kind of spooked me, you guys. It kind of spooked me a couple times. Okay, so this is, before I get into all the, how I feels about it, this is a movie about a woman who is visually impaired. She's blind. And she has recently lost her sister. Her sister has been murdered in her house. She, the visually impaired woman, has this psychic ability, and she's gonna use this ability to like figure out what happened, because what they say happened to her sister, she's not really sure of it, you know. She's kind of skeptical about it. And it's kind of interesting because the sister's husband is a doctor, a psychiatrist at a psychiatric hospital, and they live near to that, so it's like that comes into play, which is interesting. And boy, there was this part that made me jump. And it didn't, like, there are movies that have made me jump when I've watched them, of course. Like, Zach and I went and saw one of the Insidious movies, like one of the more recent ones, not like the most recent one, but I think it was the one with the key. Which one was that? some of those jump scares feel cheap, right? Because they just like come right after another, and it's like, it's not actually scary, it's just, they're startling you, right? But this one, it was like, there was this feeling of dread first, and then something happens, you know? And so I thought that that was, it was a good jump scare. It was almost like, you know, in the movie Signs, where you're watching that video of the birthday party, right? You remember that? And then the alien walks across the screen and you're like, oh my god, you know? It was almost like that. So yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. It was pretty spooky. It was weird and spooky, so I enjoyed that. And I thought it was good. And then, so I read, oh fuck, I forgot I was gonna do 2 colors. Actually, I've decided that I'll do one hand, one color, and the other hand, the other color. And then I won't have to like redo my entire like nail prep shit. Oh yeah, and then I finished this dumb book that I had to read for my business class called The Richest Man in Babylon, which is like written in like the 1920s. And it's basically just money parables, right? And it's written like, oh, we've discovered these tablets from ancient Babylon, and they told us the secrets to how Babylon was so prosperous. And it's like, okay, well, maybe some of them are good advice, but the thing is like, this was written 100 years ago, and my mortgage is really expensive, and it just like, the cost of living is really high, and some of these just don't make sense. Like my mortgage, it fluctuates depending on what my property taxes are, and I can't just be like, oh, well, this is too high, guess I'll move somewhere else for a fucking year, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't work that way. So, I also finished the book that I rolled and got, Deadly Voices by C.L. Swinney, which was a true crime book about serial murderer Herbert Mullen, which I believe I kind of knew about. Like, when I heard his name, I was like, okay, I know I've heard about this guy, but then I was reading it and it's like, okay, yeah, I guess I kind of remember, but like, you know, the details of the crimes was like, okay. Anyway, what I mean to say is, listen, everyone's got to start somewhere. But this really felt like an independently, like when people say something is independently published, this is what people think of when they say independently published. And I'm saying that as somebody who reads really good independently published books, you know? This just, you know, he cites his sources in the back. But like at one point I came to a part where he's just started saying, I blah 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 blah, and it was like, I? Who the fuck are you? Like, it was just so random that all of a sudden he was talking about his experiences when he had never spoken about himself in the book before. There was no like, my name is so and so, and I have this experience, I do this for a living, or I've done this, or I have this degree, or I've worked as this. It's just like all of a sudden he's like, me blah 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 blah, and it's like, who are you? So I had to look up who the fuck he was, because it made no sense. You know, so, you know, so it was things like that. So apparently this author is or was, or has been a police officer, you know. So there's talk at the end. Herbert Mullen, he was schizophrenic, and he committed a series of crimes. He was a missionary killer, basically. So I don't think that the author touches on this, which I think he should have. Herbert Mullen was a missionary killer. He killed people because he thought he was going to stop a like catastrophe on the west coast here. He thought that deaths were keeping terrible earthquakes at bay. And so he was hearing these voices telling him this, and he had these like coincidences. He was finding these synchronicities in his life, like he was born on an anniversary of like the San Francisco earthquake, and he thought, and he was born on like the anniversary of Einstein's death, so he thought that Einstein died so that he could be born to stop these earthquakes and the things like that, you know. So he was a troubled man, obviously, and it's crazy to me because he was not found criminally insane. Of course, this happened in the 70s. He was convicted of these crimes in the 70s. So things are much different now than they were back then. But, you know, I just don't know how a jury and a judge could hear these things and be like, this man's sane. I mean, because they were like, well, he knew he was doing wrong. And it's like, yes, but in what capacity? I don't know. Of course, I am also not a lawyer, but that seems kind of crazy to me. So this, you know, this author is talking about mental illness, and he says something, and he's really not clarifying if he's talking about schizophrenia in itself, about paranoid schizophrenia, or because he just flat out said because it goes, the page is like this, right? And he's saying paranoid schizophrenia, blah blah blah, and then in another paragraph he's talking about just broadly mental illness, and he's talking about how I tabbed it because it was making me kind of upset. He says mental health issues are experienced by a large portion of our population, and unless those experiencing these problems have a lot of money or their families have a lot of money, they rarely can afford intensive treatments and medications they need to function day to day. This has been a problem society, law enforcement, and the courts have known for quite some time. You know, and in the previous paragraph he's talking about how you know, people with mental health issues were put in asylums, and now they're on the streets basically because of what Ronald Reagan did to the mental health system. So he is saying, like, broadly, people with just broadly mental health issues. I keep saying broadly, but you know, it's I can't discern if he, because previously he was just talking about paranoid schizophrenia, and then opens it up to really say mental illness period, and it's like, well, is he just saying things like paranoid schizophrenia, or is he just talking about mental illness generally? Because there's such a spectrum of mental illness, and like, I have mental health issues, and luckily I have insurance because they can be expensive. I have insurance and I'm able to financially deal with those things, and just because somebody has a mental illness does not mean that they're going to be a problem to society, you know, and it's really harmful to say things like that. And he goes on to talk about how police have training to deal with homeless people with mental health issues, and I have a I had a family member who previously worked in a division that did that in our city's police department, and from what I understood, I don't really know if he received specialized training to do that, and what he basically did was break up camps. Like, he just went in and broke up camps. That's like really what they did. Like, there's no specialized thing. They just didn't want them hanging out anywhere, you know. Like, they would respond to calls of unhoused people, you know, if like businesses would call or people would call, and then they would break up camps. Like, there's no specialized training. So it's I don't, you know, I I'm sure that differs from department to department, but it's crazy to say that just police in general are really kind and gentle to the unhoused population, because we know that's not fucking true. Anyway, so I have a little bit of gripe with that book. So anyway, that's what I've got planned for now. I need to put another coat on these babies. I guess pick a book out, watch my movie. Tonight, what movie was that? Happy Birthday to Me, that's right. It's Friday, so I'm dropping my kid off at a birthday party for a couple hours. Hopefully that goes well for her. And I will talk to you later, Gators. Good afternoon. It is Saturday, and last night I completed my prompt, I guess. I don't know, my card for my role, which was to watch Happy Birthday to Me. I've never seen this before, but I was pleasantly surprised by this. It started out a little slow. I was really surprised because I saw, okay, the credits were rolling in the beginning, and I see the name Melissa Sue Anderson, and I'm like, why does that name ring a bell? Who's Melissa Sue Anderson? And I was like, whatever, you know, like maybe I just saw her recently in another 80s movie. So it's going, there's like a scene, and then all of a sudden they're in the car and they're close up on this young woman, and I'm like, oh, that is Mary Ingalls from Little House on the Prairie. So she's the main character in this, and her friends are dying around her, and she's had this like traumatic brain injury that she's still sort of recovering from, and it's really good. It starts out a little slow, and it's interesting. It feels like it has touches of giallo almost, where there are parts where you're almost in the POV of this like black gloved killer, but you're not quite in their POV. It's just like really close-up shots where you don't see their face. And like I said, all our friends are dying. It has a really great ending, and I enjoyed this. It was great. Kill scenes were great. There is, in fact, a death by kebab. So I was glad that I enjoyed that one, and now I can roll again. Although, if I roll a book, I did start Soft Ceremonies, which is an anthology put out by Filthy Loot. It's pretty short. I've read like 1.5 of the stories in there. I think there's 4. It's like 80 pages long, maybe. So I didn't quite get through it yesterday as I was doing things. I edited a video. I was chauffeuring children back and forth to a birthday party. You know how it goes. But I don't know if I'll finish it today either, because it's 2 o'clock, and I need to color my hair today. I haven't done that in a while. I haven't had time, and it needs it. But we'll see what this role brings. Maybe it'll be an activity and it'll be fun. We'll see. What is this, 7? Oh, 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god, a black cat. Cats and bats are books. I just keep narrowly missing my pieces of candy on my board. And it's not like there's none on there, there's just less of them. I've gone past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And also I've gone past 6 candies, and also a choose your own adventure space. My trick-or-treat space. No activities so far. So, well, guess I'm choosing a novella. Let's see. Man, fuck this house. Okay, Let's do it. I wonder if that's one I could... No. I shouldn't. I do have audiobooks I could listen to without spending a credit if I really wanted to read an audiobook. So, Man Fuck This House. Let me find that. Although this is one of my longer selections. This is about a 200-page story, so maybe, I don't know, is there an audio for this? You know, this came to fame because of the title. In fact, I see like normies I know, as in like people not involved in like the horror community and the book community, like people I know from like high school posting like screenshots of this book and like, oh my god, isn't this title so hilarious and stuff like that. And I'm always like, oh my god, that's hilarious. I bought this from the author. He signed it and personalized it and drew a little ghost in it, sent me some stickers. Very nice of him. So this is about a woman who moves into let me just read you the synopsis actually. It says, Sabrina Haskins and her family have just moved into their dream home, a gorgeous craftsman in the rapidly growing southwestern city of Jackson Hill. Sabrina's a bored and disillusioned homemaker. Hal, a reverse mortgage salesman with a penchant for ill-timed sports analogies. Their two children, Damien and Michaela, are bright and precocious. At first glance, the house is perfect, but things aren't what they seem. Sabrina's hearing odd noises, seeing strange visions. Their neighbors are odd or absent, and Sabrina's already fraught relationship with her son is about to be tested in a way no parent could ever imagine. Because while the Haskins family might be the newest owners of 4596 James Circle, they're far from its only a residence. Okay. I like it. Appreciate it. I believe, actually, I got a ALC, an early listening copy from Libro FM this month, of a werewolf novel that Brian Asman has either come out with recently or is coming out with soon. I don't recall the title of it, but yeah, so what are you gonna do with that information? I don't know, look it up, I suppose. But okay, well, I gotta finish Soft Ceremonies. I'll look in to see if maybe there's an audio of this, just so I can get this finished sooner, since it is a little bit longer for my as far as novellas go. I mean, maybe this wouldn't even be considered a novella. I don't know. Anyway, do you want to see what I got from Michael's? My daughter wanted to go to Ulta, and one of the Ultas in town is by a Michael's. And I wanted to look at like their Halloween crafts, and then I was like, ooh, maybe I could get a diamond painting kit because people have been talking about those. And I started one once and I never finished it. And so I was like, maybe I should get another one. And I was looking at, I was thinking of like a fall themed or Halloween or just like generally spooky looking one. Maybe like books or a raven or a skull or something. They did have a section that had some, and they were like 30% off, and I was like, oh cool, they're 30% off, but none of them were really cool. So I found like the section where the other ones are, and I found this. And like, I'm not like a unicorn person. It's okay if you are. I'm just not. Like, unicorns are fine, but like I'm not buying things with unicorns on them. But this reminded me of something you would see in like a weird late 70s or 80s fantasy movie. And I was saying that to Lavi, and she's like, yeah, like The Last Unicorn. And I was like, yeah, exactly. And so now I have this like not Halloween-y diamond art kit, but I'm so stoked about it. It looks like it's gonna be a blast. This weird like pink snowscape. Well, it'll be winter soon, and I'm sure I'll still be working on this diamond art. And then, so I went in there only to look at stuff such as that, but then Spooky Town stuff was 40% off. So I did buy this year's Spooky Town. I wasn't really planning to. I don't get one every year. And in fact, sometimes Zach's mom has added to my collection. She's probably actually bought me half of the ones that I have. She's been very generous adding to my Spooky Town collection. But I found this one. It's, what is this one called? Oh, it's just called The Living End, I guess. And that's what it is. The Living End Exotic Plants Nursery and Garden. It's one of the battery operated ones. I don't know if that's just like what they're doing now and like doing away with the light bulbs, which kind of bums me out because it's like now I have like half light bulb and half, well, I only have one other one that's battery operated, but my light bulb ones I remember to turn off because I turned the switch off, it turns them all off. But the battery operated ones, I'm always worried that I'm gonna forget to turn them off, and so sometimes I don't turn them on, and then I can't appreciate their spooky glow because I'm worried about leaving them on accident. But it's really cool lit up. It's got like these spotlights on the plants, and then these Venus flytraps down here. These ones glow like purple lights. It looks really cool. And so that is my Spooky Town edition for the year. Ooh, I'm surprised that there were any left at all. Sometimes I've gone and they don't have any because I go around Halloween and, you know, they start doing their Halloween stuff like way too early. I mean, like, I really like Halloween, obviously, but I also like to look at Halloween stuff near Halloween time too. And then when you put it out 7 weeks before Halloween, it's gone by the time Halloween is here. And then how do I get to be spooky at Halloween time if at Halloween time everything's gone and then you're setting out like other stuff? I don't know. So that's my check-in for Saturday. I don't know what day of Halloween-a-thon it is anymore, but I'll probably check in with you tomorrow on Sunday if I've made any progress in my books or something like that. So see you then. Wait, no, this is the last. Oh my god, I almost did it again. This is my last. This is the last day of week 2 Halloween-a-thon vlog. Thank you for watching. And now I have to edit this tomorrow, I guess is what I'm doing tomorrow. Okay, now I'm really for sure going. See you later.